So without further ado, we're going to begin with Torchbearer TV's first panel, with the discussion being a very personal favorite film of mine, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So with us on this panel today, we have Armadillo Dave of SouthAtlantaWrestling.com, Matt Griffin, CEO of Action Wrestling, and Ravana Vane, Mistress of the Night.
Hello.
Everybody's face quiet.
This is a good intro. We are off to a hot start.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Hey, man, first time for everything. But so what we got going on today is we're going to be discussing the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch as a series of episodes that are going to occur with the Halloween franchise altogether. We chose this one first because this one has a very unique thing about it in that it is its own self-continuity based film. Even though it is called Halloween 3, this is not a Michael Myers film. With that being said, spoilers are ahead. So if you have not seen the movie, or you've not seen the movie in a long time, you may want to hit the pause button on this video, go watch it real fast, and then come back, hit play, and enjoy. So you've been warned. Here we go. Okay, Halloween 3 was an experiment in a way, in a sorts, with John Carpenter. After the character Michael Myers was killed, yes, kiddies, killed in part 2. He was not supposed to come back. They wanted to do something different with the Halloween title. He wanted to do an anthology of films, kind of like Creepshow, but not where it was one movie that was like 5 or 6 stories. He wanted to release a new Halloween movie with a different theme, different topic, every Halloween going forward as a film anthology. The issue is, for that time, it was a very meta thing to do, but it wasn't really communicated because of the fact they called it Halloween 3. Caused a lot of confusion. I know when I saw the movie as a kid, way back when in the 80s, that I was confused because it's Halloween 3. Where the hell's Michael Myers? And then somewhere in the movie, they actually ironically show a commercial for Halloween in Halloween 3.
Yes.
As a 7-year-old Jose, I was confused. Bobby, what did you guys, the first time you saw the film, what was your take when you realized, dude, where the hell's Michael?
Well,
you go first.
Me?
Ladies
okay.
first, man. Come on. Gosh. What?
Okay. So for me, because I saw the first Halloween was one of the first horror movies that I ever watched. And I loved Michael Myers, and I still love Michael Myers. He's one of my favorite horror movie characters. So when I went to watch like the whole series for the first time, and I watched the third one, I was like, what am I watching right now? Did I get the right movie? Like, is this the continuation? And because I didn't realize that, because I had already known that there were so many other sequels. So when there's just the third one that didn't have Michael in it, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I feel like the first time I watched it, I was like, I would like this if it wasn't called Halloween 3. I would have liked it better. Because when I came in with the expectation that I was like, I thought it was going to be like a Michael Myers movie. And then it was something totally different. Like, it still was a good movie, but I just feel like going into it, I would have liked it better and had more of an open mind to it if it wasn't called Halloween 3.
I could totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew about it because I had taped. I got a recording of the original Halloween that had some of the deleted scenes in it, like that were later added in for the television broadcast to help flesh out the time. Like, there's a great scene early on that they never should have cut and should always have been in, and it's with Donald Pleasance in the first one. He's pleading to them to not let Michael out. Why? So then when it's in between the murder and when he gets out, so it makes so much sense. Like, I told them they should never have gone out. So that was the film that I grew up with watching. I was aware of 2, and I was aware of 3 that it was completely, totally different. So when I saw 3 the first time, I did not expect anything except the anthology aspect, like you brought up, like it was just going to be a separate movie. So that was never anything of note to me. And I wish they'd kept on going with that because, honestly, I mean, maybe in a different type of idea, but because I like the idea of Halloween horror movies.
Oh no, I thought it's you pretty much hit it on the head because if I had any clue, like literally, this was a 7 or 8 year old me was like, my brother rented it because he knows I like horror movies and whatnot. He rents it. We're watching it. I'm looking at him. I go, "You got the wrong movie, dummy." He goes, he's like, "It says Halloween 3." I go, "Do you see Michael Myers?" But it says, "Do you see
Me.
Michael Myers?" No, I don't. Well, it's not Halloween 3. So for years, here's the irony. I ended up changing my opinion on it as a teen and an adult because when I saw it as a kid, I'm like, no, this is crap. It's not Michael Myers. It's not Halloween. I'm done with it. No, it's not. So then, years have passed by, and my friends are like, "Hey, man, you see Halloween 3? It's pretty good." I go, "No, that sucked. It was a piece of crap." Why was it a piece of crap? It had something to do with Michael Myers, and it wasn't until, like Ravina said, they're like, "Watch it again. Just erase the fact that it's called Halloween 3. Watch it as untitled. Just kind of get your head that it's not Michael Myers. Don't worry about him. Just watch it as a standalone film, and just watch it." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll try it again, whatever." So I watch it, and it wasn't until watching it with that mindset now, being pre-programmed to know that it's not a Michael Myers flick, that I actually enjoyed it for what it was. It was actually a very well-written movie. It was a very unique topic for the
Mhm.
time. I mean, it was actually, I would actually gander to say it was ahead of its time as far as the theme that it was talking about. And I mean, everybody did a great job. And I actually, after I watched it, I was like, dang, it actually is a pretty good movie. I just had to get over the fact that it wasn't a Michael Myers flick. Um, but like I said, at the time, it did poorly at the theaters and even the rentals, because of the fact that it was not a Michael Myers movie. But it became a cult classic anyway because it wasn't a Michael Myers movie. People were like, "Oh, you mean, was that movie, that Halloween movie without Michael Myers?" It actually kind of gave that spin to it to where people wanted to watch. It's like, dude, other than that, it was actually a pretty solid
Yeah.
flick. So
Yeah, I had two takeaways about that movie. Really, it was like, okay, it's weird Michael Myers isn't in it, and then of course the theme song, which we'll touch on later. But I had the same experience y'all did. It's like it was jarring that Michael Myers wasn't in it, and I don't remember when I first saw it. But then I went back later and watched it. And thought, no, this is pretty cool in its own right. And like within the last year, I showed my brother-in-law that he had never seen it ever, like never seen it. And so he's like 35, 36, and we sat down and watched it. And he said, "Yeah, that's kind of strange, but that's like really cool, you know." So I think it's getting a lot more appreciation now than maybe it did in its own time.
yeah,
It helps. It helps that it plays with AMC constantly in the blocks with one and the original 1 and 2. It constantly plays over and over. They will have like 1, 2, 4, 5 as well. So it's out there a lot. Whereas if it was just a movie with a different title, it might be some forgotten early '80s horror movie.
yeah. No, I agree.
That's the flip. That's the flip side of that. It might not have become a cult favorite in any way if it didn't have that push. Because there's lots of you know '70s and '80s movies and horror movies that really are good, but there's nothing to make them stand out for people to watch them.
No, I think
Because
you're right. Like, if it wasn't tied to the Halloween series, like, it probably wouldn't have gotten as much recognition as it did.
I agree with that.
so
Yeah,
it,
and
it hamstrung it early, but I feel like now it has really helped the perception of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, look, Dave, you were saying,
no, yeah, I was going to say one of the times something Matt said earlier was that I would have liked to have seen. It would have been interesting had they continued down that path of just doing standalone films. I kind of like would have seen what they came up with because, like, I mean, you've seen the Halloweens like from that original series, like 4 or 5, whatever, and it's like they're fine, whatever, but like 3 stands out. It's like what else could they have come up with, and then they could have always revisited Michael Myers later too. So
yeah, no, I agree with that.
So the movie I watched, I was able to watch about the first 2/3 of it last night, and I didn't have a chance to finish it. And it's so fucking batshit insane with some of the stuff that's not even horror related. Like, I mean, if you line up 100 actors and Tom Atkins is in that lineup,
Mhm.
how is Tom Atkins like the absolute pimp daddy of this movie? Like, he's sexually harassing the nurse, and she's totally great with it. She grabs his ass right back. I mean, Ellie's
Yeah,
what, 20 years younger than him, and all of a sudden there's no chemistry at all. And then she's all of a sudden, "Where would you like me to be?" And all of a sudden, it's the biggest porno scene hookup that makes no sense. And the lab tech forensic woman is all like, "This is going to cost you a bunch of dinners," and she's all staring wistfully as he leaves. She kisses him, and he's just like, "Okay." So this movie is even any of the horror stuff or main storyline aside, this movie is batshit, and it's in the best way possible.
Dude, look, when he took his shirt off in the motel, that man was sexy. What is your problem, Mateo? What is the problem? You cannot see that he had the sexy old man hump in the back, you know? No, no, they got, yeah. When he took his shirt off, I'm like, dude, you're no Sly, okay? You're no Arnold. Put it back on. You're not the muscles from Brussels, so put it on. Don't take it off. Put it on. I was just straight up. My Spanish accent came out like, no, dude, put it on. No, stop.
And just 5 minutes into the movie, they establish he is a drunk, and then he's just going to go in to the hospital while he's drunk
and still employed.
Yeah,
everybody in the hospital. Oh, he's drunk. He's going through the forest.
Nobody cares. They're like, oh, it's normal. It's fine.
I love that. It's just such a character tick. It's just like the thing, like, oh, okay, well, it's no big deal for the airplane pilots to be at the fucking bar and then go fly a plane across the country. It's like all those things where that whole Mad Men type of thing. Oh, sure, drinking is just fine.
Smoking in the hospital, exorcist style.
And all the things he's drinking are like different. Like when he's with Ellie and he takes off to go to Santa Mira, he's got a 6-pack of Miller High Life. He's drinking like brown liquor in the bar when Ellie comes to find him.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Now you actually Ellie. Okay. I'm trying to find a delicate way. Armadillo is smiling. Okay. So two things, and once again, I'm going to throw this out there. Spoiler. So if you're still watching, I'm sorry that you're still watching because we already spoiled the hell out of it. But this is definitely a major spoiler.
Movie that's from like 1982. I don't think spoilers exist anymore.
Well, you might be right, but still, they've been forewarned. Ellie, the character of Ellie. Okay, so this has been a conversation I've had with a lot of people, both film buffs, horror buffs, or just in general. So, was Ellie a robot the whole time, or did they do some weird, quick? Here, we're gonna print her skin out and cover a robot for the 5 minutes that they were separated in the lab?
Yeah, I think she was a human person who got swapped with a robot at the end.
Because I was gonna say, dude, you're a sucky doctor.
You're a sucky doctor.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's the one thing in the movie that's always been like, because people are like, oh no, she was there the whole time. She was like a plant. I'm like, the doctor who's supposed to know anatomy got carnal with her. You would think they'd be like,
it doesn't make sense.
I mean,
he gets pulled in when she goes into the bar looking for him, and all they have to do is get to Sunday, October 31st, and then all the shit hits the fan, and they're gonna get exposed. And anyway, all they have to do is make it to Sunday. So if she's an android the whole time, then first of all, she's the sexiest robot ever.
Hey,
because she's hitting on Tom Atkins, and then she brings him in. So there's no real reason to bring him in to it if she's a robot the whole time.
No, and that's what I'm figuring too, is that I would say the word logic loosely. Logic dictates that they wouldn't want to bring him in, that they would obviously keep him busy and away from our town. But it's just kind of, it's weird because the timing, how do you know? It's like, how fast can they reproduce a human? Or, it's kind of, because all these guys throughout the movie, all the agents per se, are all like copies of each other. There's only 4 or 5, because remember he saw one guy, the guy that killed himself in the beginning, when he kills the old guy in the beginning in the hospital, he then sets himself on fire and burns away. He's like, that's the same. And then when they end up in the town later, he goes, that's the same guy that killed your father, but he's here, even though I saw him burn. So it's like, how fast were they able? That's the only part that was kind of like, okay, she's a robot now. How the hell? But that's the one part of the movie that's always kind of like, bro, use reaching. But It's,
But then
it,
again,
it got me.
if she's a robot, does she even have like private parts and stuff like that? I mean, how convincing does it have to be? Because she reveals herself to be a robot as they're driving off.
I know. That's the other question.
How advanced was the technology?
Man,
I
look,
mean,
we gotta call somebody, and then she just turns.
I kill you. So it's like seriously, all the nicest left. You're exactly right. He's like, we have to call somebody. Yeah, I must kill you. I was like, okay, what the hell? You became Arnold all of a sudden. You are terminated. So yeah, it was definitely a what the hell moment. But it was yeah. No, I just because like to Raven's point, I'm here thinking, dude, like I keep going back to if she was a robot the whole time, you are the world's dumbest fucking dog. That's all I'm going to say about that.
But think about the intricate detail you have to have. I mean, if she is a robot the whole time, they programmed her with like sex appeal and sex drive, and she's got stuff anatomically down there so that they can have sex. So
Yeah,
that's a lot of crazy ass detail.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, but what cracks me up is this: is the whole not even the robot part, but the scene where they check in the motel where he's like, I can go sleep in the car. Oh, you don't have to do that. Well, what I'm saying is there's only one bed. He's got an ex-wife that he's still trying to be a nice guy because this girl just lost her dad. And just the whole delivery of where do you want to sleep, doctor? Like,
And him being the oddest leading man ever just makes that whole thing so much weirder, which we already touched on. But like, it's like the whole thing is like, okay, yeah, sure.
so
That is how like 50% of the scenes on Pornhub start. Like,
it's like
where do you want to sleep?
starts out the Halloween theme and then it goes corny like
I mean, that's not wrong.
I mean,
Yeah, just need the music.
oh gosh.
oh, and who is the ex-wife?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. So there are some Easter eggs to the original, outside the fact that you have a commercial for the original Halloween. There are two huge Easter eggs. One is visual, the other is audio. The visual Easter egg is Tom Atkins' ex-wife in the film is actress Nancy Keys, who played Jamie Lee Curtis's best friend in the original, Annie. She's the daughter of the cop. So that was babysitting the girl across the street. She ends up playing the ex-wife or whatever of Tom Atkins' character. So that was the first Easter egg. Now, do you guys know the second Easter egg? Okay,
I wish I rewatched this before we recorded because I'm like, you guys are like slowly refreshing my memory because I feel like honestly this is the one I've seen the least amount of times.
I got you. So,
What is wrong with you?
A lot.
They give it on
Do you
AMC
want
like
a
every
list?
weekend.
Do you
The
want a
question was
list?
rhetorical. The question was rhetorical.
No, so
Good.
the second, and it's obvious, and the irony is it's actually from the Halloween one as well. The second Easter egg, or I guess technically third, is in the town. You hear this machine, this voice coming over the intercom saying, "Curfew, curfew, go home,
Yeah.
curfew." That is Jamie Lee Curtis, uncredited.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that if you go back and watch it, see now you're gonna have to go watch it.
I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah, and it wasn't until I'm like,
Because I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, that voice of the intercom, the town intercom, is
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis as an uncredited voice acting.
dang.
So I thought that was kind of cool. So you've got the very meta Easter egg, which is you're watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and you see a Halloween commercial. You've got one of the actresses playing the main character's ex-wife from the original movie, and then you have the last girl, the main star of Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, doing a very, and it's unless you actually listen to it, you don't catch it. I had to watch it. I watched it for years.
Right.
I think I caught that this year or 2019. Just a few months ago, I guess when I actually first noticed. It sounds like Jamie Lee Curtis, and then there's some research and found that it was Jamie Lee Curtis.
I did not know
so,
that.
So see, this is an educational channel. We educate.
We're learning.
Yeah. So here's the question. Speaking that with the fact that we've brought up the fact that Tom Atkins was a awkward leading role.
He was the pimp.
Yes. Is there anybody else you would have rather seen in that role versus
Marlon Brando.
Huh?
Marlon Brando.
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. I stopped there, man. Rob Van Dam. Hell.
Oh no.
I'm the doctor. I'm the whole effing hospital. Okay? Sorry. Very
I
okay.
don't know.
That was not a good impersonation. I don't do Van Dam well.
I'm a fan of the Friday the 13th series. Not that they're as good as the Halloweens. I just enjoy them more. Like, I'm sure we'll get around to talking about that someday. And I was thinking about that because, like, the leads to me aren't nearly as important in those movies as they are. So, like, Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously, an awesome lead. And, like, for as strange as this movie is, I think the strange leading man and Tom Atkins is, like, kind of the right choice. I don't know who else would go in there. Like, I mean, I don't know. It would change the movie. I mean, it's an odd movie with an odd leading man, and it all kind of works. So, hey, he was the right guy, I guess.
He's great in it. Yeah, he's great.
Now, this is very John Carpenter, though, because if you notice, especially in the 80s flicks, John Carpenter would often reuse, not just leading actors, he would often reuse a lot of the actors in the movies in some form or fashion. Jamie Lee Curtis, for example, being the voice in this one, Annie being the ex-wife. But other examples would be Tom Atkins is also in Escape from New York as one of the side characters. At the very beginning of the movie, he's the one that when they're trying to decode what airplane is. Oh, sorry, spoilers. What airplane is crashing into NYC, and they decode it as Air Force One. He's one of the officers. Like, oh crap,
Now I'm not going to watch that. Now I'm not going to watch that movie.
Matt, like you haven't seen that before. Come on now. I know.
Now I refuse.
Spoiler alert.
Technically, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Look, I said spoiler warning at the beginning.
You did.
You've known me for a couple of years, and you still take me seriously, which.
Oh no, I do something.
I don't think anyone takes you seriously, Matt.
Jose does.
Some things, mostly everything, but who counts?
You have. I have ribbed you a lot.
Okay, a couple times, not anymore though. Now I literally, everything you say, I'm like,
So,
I like sit and sometimes I have to analyze it. I take it all with a grain of salt.
So let me ask this question. Of the masks, if you could get one of them for real, which one would be your choice? Me is the pumpkin. I just thought it was the badass of the three. Not that I want to be eaten alive by bugs, but still.
I guess the skull, because it looks like the most comfortable, because I think the other two have weird shit around their eyes. And I think the skull, you probably have the best visibility. Because the pumpkin, you've got the stalk thing coming out of the top that it would weigh it down.
Yeah.
And the witch has got the hood. The skull is nice and clean. So I think you'd probably be able to see the best out of that.
Are you saying that because the skull is bald?
I think it's
let's just come out and say it. It's comfortable because it's already form-fitting. I'm close to there too.
Because he did go like, it's nice and clean.
Yeah, see, I don't say it. I'm like,
that's very offensive. That's very offensive to say.
She did not mean to offend, or maybe she did. I don't know. But no. So, Ravana, which one would you choose?
I was gonna say the pumpkin too, but I think that's honestly just because I associate the pumpkin so much with the whole series.
Halloween.
Right.
Armadillo, please tell me you're gonna say the witch.
I think the pumpkin was my first instinct, but I think the skull is the coolest one because, like, what, like, little kid, like I would have been when this came out, real little. What doesn't want a really cool looking skull mask? Like, that's pretty sweet. So I'd go with that. And I appreciate that nobody picked the witch, even though this is season
of the witch. Yeah,
season of the witch.
No, I know. Actually,
seems like somebody should have picked that, but whatever.
But you know what? You're right. You are right. Now, I'll let Matt say something first. Go ahead. Mateo.
Well, when the little girl puts that mask on in the beginning of the movie, that mask is fucking gigantic on her head. That looks so uncomfortable to wear. Like, how would you see? So.
But no, you're not wrong. They were definitely oversized for sure. But no, Dave, what you said actually is another big thing that kind of gets brought into the conversation. the title, Season of the Witch. A lot of people are like, what damn witch? There was one mask that was a witch, but where do you get witch from? And it's one of those, the same thing. I've watched the movie, I can't tell you how many times in my lifetime, but it wasn't until watching it, like once again, a few months ago in 2019, I'm like here watching it almost with a different set of eyes, and I'm like, Season of the Witch. And I just actually rewatched the entire franchise, and then I picked up something. So this movie, even though it's its own continuity and nothing in it is canon to any of the other films in the series, right? There is one thing that you almost think may have been an idea driver for one of the later sequels, and what I'm calling the prime continuity. So we've come to find out, spoilers, that the manufacturer of said mask, he's laughing, is actually into Celtic witchcraft.
Yeah.
And so I think that's referring to that Season of the Witch as far as for the Celtic witchcraft. And where that plays in Halloween 5, which is Revenge of Michael Myers. Yeah, there's
the fifth one.
The fifth one, yes.
I know where you're going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay, yeah. So there's a deleted scene, much like Matt pointed out in the first movie. There's a deleted scene at the beginning of Halloween 5 where they are showing his resurrection. Instead of him just waking up in some guy's shack, the deleted scene or unfilmed scene was a situation where he was actually on some kind of altar, in between the credits going like so-and-so playing this, so-and-so playing that. You're seeing images of Michael on an altar receiving a tattoo on his wrist of the sign of the rune of thorn. Okay. Now that's important because that comes into play in the sixth film, which actually has two versions. That comes into play. It was cut and it from the film. And Halloween 5, like I said, there was just a weird derailment of storyline there because there was so much they put into it. But I've always wondered, now that I've watched it again and caught the fact that you had the Celtic witchcraft in part 3, and then later on we see the whole Rune of Thorn storyline develop or begin to develop, if the Celtic thing was kind of the spark that made them go that route with parts 5 and 6.
So back to Halloween 3.
Yeah, sorry.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they get that Stonehenge tablet over? Because it's referenced, and Colonel Cochran only says it's like, we had a devil of a time getting it over, or however he says it. And then they never bring it up again. He never actually explained how the fuck they get this like 20-ton hunk of rock off of an island across, not only across to the United States, but then across the United States to California. I mean,
that's a good. You know what? That's honestly a good question, because I was gonna make a smart ass comment. Well, you see, they broke it apart and then glued it back together. But the thing is, they were taking it apart and making the masks from it. So it's kind of like, why did
you know that they didn't break it? They could have, but they didn't, because you see it in like the one thing. And there's a bunch of bad stuff that is dumb too. Like, okay, so they're very important on the dates, right? It says, Saturday the 23rd.
Yep.
So when they go back and you've got the San Francisco lady showing up because they messed up her order. She is there. Halloween is the Sunday. She is there on the Friday before because they messed up her order.
What good's that going to do? Exactly. No, wow. I didn't even pick that up. It's the simple things.
The simple stuff, like, and why did they bring in their best salesman to kill him and his family? I mean, now they don't need him anymore because he's already sold all his masks.
Yeah.
But she hasn't even gotten her order. So, like, they kill him off, okay, because they're only going to be able to have one shot at this.
Yeah.
I just never understood. That seems like a lot of work to actually bring this family in and give them a tour and then demonstrate. They already knew it would happen, because when she gets her face, shot off,
which was a freaking freaky scene.
And he's like, "What happened? Misfire." So they know, and they know exactly what a misfire is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That is always something that annoyed me, continuity wise.
I never thought about that, but now that you pointed it out, I was like, man.
Okay, and they're in California. Now, none of this stuff really impacts me enjoying the movie, but they're in California, right?
Yeah.
Stay tuned to the big giveaway at 9:00. That's fucking
midnight everywhere else. Midnight in Georgia.
On the East Coast on a school night, because it's Sunday night.
That's
There ain't none of these kids
Yeah.
none of these 8-year-olds are going to be allowed to stay up for the big giveaway at midnight.
I mean, it's California, man. They just worry about themselves. No,
So, like,
It's
but that's a good
only
point.
California. That's
Yeah.
it.
California, man. No.
yeah,
It's
so is this
California.
just a West Coast thing? Is it just a West Coast thing?
It's just a West Coast thing.
It could have been.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. But no, it's a good point though. It's like the whole thing about the giveaway at 9:00, and 9:00 is midnight on the east side. So it means the East Coast survived because they were already asleep.
Well, like, and think about it. I noticed this yesterday when I was watching. I'm like, okay, so they have the video 8 more days till Halloween, and then they have a few others. I'm like, do you know how much? You don't have one ad that you can cut. You can have one video, but you've got to do the voiceovers. So you've basically got like
4
this.
more days.
Yes, you've basically got this Sean Mooney in the Event Center WWF thing, who's got to do like videos for like 30 house shows in a week because he's got to go like it's 15 more days, 14 more days, and they've got to have all these ads that are like what on audio tapes
Oh wow.
because you've got to send everything out. It's not just and it's all these videotapes because you can only use it's 2 more days till Halloween on one specific fucking day.
True.
Then you got to toss it, and you got the 1 more day. So what was their What was the Silver Shamrock advertising budget like?
So they blew it out because they weren't going to need it anymore.
Exactly. They had nothing left to lose. Why hold on? Hey, he's like, hey, we're gonna pay you for the every day in the month of October because look, we're going out like there's no November 1st because there ain't.
I mean, they're like, screw it. Everything goes into this. We won't need it after.
Yeah, I love that. This is just one giant shot, and I don't know what was going to happen after all these kids, have their faces fried and bugs come out.
Oh yeah, that's just
Like that'd be cool, but I don't know. Like this great pumpkin come out of the the cornfield.
It's the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Sorry,
I don't know. I'm just curious. I love the movie, but it's so weird. Like, what's the end game of this?
That's a really good point. And that's the thing is, it's like it honestly felt like there was a lot of potential story to tell, and it's like there all this build up. Oh crap, we're only 90 minutes. We got to stop it now. And it's like, okay, straight to the climax. Because it was actually doing pretty good building of the story. The actor that played Colin Cochran, did a great job. You had that momentum and everything, but then it just kind of felt like, okay, blow up the factory. Factory's burning. I got to run and warn people. Oh, wait, you're a robot too? Crap. And then change the channel. Quick, change the channel. Oh, shit. It felt like they forgot they only had a 90-minute allotment.
Yeah.
The last 20 minutes is where it just really said we went from 50 miles an hour to 120.
Yeah. 0 to 100 real quick.
Exactly. It's like, crap, go. Take it off cruise control. But
I love that the early 80s, apparently there was a phone number you could call to just shut down television.
Oh, yeah. 555 something.
I mean, shut it down. And they're able to switch the channels and at the perfect second for everything to just go off until it's the last one. That's great.
No, every time I see that movie now because of Street Fighter, the Van Damme film, I always picture Zangief going, quick, change the channel. Okay,
I do not.
You never. Okay, I may have just embarrassed myself.
I was a Mortal Kombat guy.
Same.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
The game was
Kombat
fucking
dope.
Dude,
Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry. I definitely, as far as the game is awesome. As far as the movies.
Okay,
No,
look.
Dude,
Listen, we're not going to get into this discussion.
No, I know.
It had Mrs. Pete Sampras as a fucking badass. And the future Mrs. Billy Madison. So
this is true.
Show some respect.
I know. Hey, I give all respect. Sonya Blade. Kato. Yeah, I felt bad for Kato. I'm like, dude, you got Liu Kang was cool. But I'll bring it back here for a second. So in the next episode, what we're going to discuss, like I said, one thing that, and like I said, it in itself can be multiple discussions because, like I said, the film franchise of Halloween, like I said, I don't know of any other film, even if you include the Star Wars films that have all the offshoots, movies and stuff, they still follow one main continuity, which is, I guess we're calling now the Skywalker saga, right? It follows one continuity. They just input a movie here, input a movie here. But with Halloween, they actually do have, if you include the Rob Zombie flicks, 7 different continuities, not timelines, but actual continuities where they said, hey, we got to part 6. We're going to go back to part 2 and skip all these. I mean, they actually did that so many times that there's 7 films. And then depending on what continuity you're looking at, spoiler, Jamie Lee Curtis dies in one, but then survives in another, the 2019.
Mhm.
So that's going to be actually one of the next episodes we're going to discuss is that, because that one is definitely going to be a bit of a mind
Maybe
blow.
Jamie Lee Curtis is Jason Voorhees
But,
because he also died and came back to life. I'm just asking questions here.
No,
Okay.
That's a mind. That's a
I believe
on
you.
what
I believe your
planet
mind.
does
Oh my
Jamie
God.
Lee Curtis fit the Jason? All right.
Hey, look,
Jason's wearing a mask. Jason's wearing a mask.
look.
Prove
Okay.
this done.
Jason's
But
mama. Jason's
she on
mama
fuck-
did some damage.
Is she
She
on
died.
stilts?
And then came back to life. Remember part 5? They had this wimpy little EMT
Okay.
supposed to put on a mask, and then the real Jason's like the fucking Incredible Hulk. They
That's
got
true.
this Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk thing going on for him. the EMT.
But you know what? But even still, I'll say this.
I know some shit.
No, and like I said, Friday the 13th will definitely also be another topic. Like I said, there's gonna be a bunch of topics because first and foremost, I'm an '80s freak and a horror geek. So, like I said, that's definitely gonna be a lot of topics. So I think there's gonna be a lot of cool conversations about that. But like I said, what we'll do for now is we're going to bring it to an end. Like I said, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
I want to talk about Tom Atkins' sexual skills some more.
I'm
Dude,
good
look,
on that.
Look, man, look.
Hey,
That's what I saw.
I need,
Armadillo Dave's like, I'm
need to
done.
share
Screw y'all, I'm done.
I
I'm
need
signing
to share
off.
something, man.
Look, all I'm going to say is this. The man took his shirt off. There was some awkwardness because I'm like, is that what men look? Is that what I'm going to look like when I'm that age? Thank God I don't.
Wide shoulders,
I'm like, big brother who let me watch this movie well before I was supposed to because I'm only like 6. Is that what I'm going to look like when I hit like the ripe old age of 30? So he's like, no.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep. Enjoy
Everyone.
You're gonna that was it, but you gotta realize, look, that was the '80s dad bod. That was the '80s dad bod. Mind blowing. Boom.
And women went fucking crazy for it in that movie. So
Look, see, it was a trend that was already being set back then. Just saying.
Even after I watched the movie, I still didn't know why it was called Season of the Witch because like, apparently I wasn't paying attention until like I watched it like for the 4th time and it's like, oh, Celtic witch. I get it, yeah. Like I was waiting for like like the Wizard of Oz, the witch to show up.
Dude, look, 6-year-old Jose watched the movie 3 times over one weekend because, damn it, where's Michael? I think I missed him.
Same.
You have to rewind it to the point that I like messed up our VHS player because it rewinded too much,
I literally didn't give the movie like a second chance until like a couple years ago, and it was my little brother that made me.
No,
Like my younger brother was like, "It's actually a good movie. Just watch it." And I'm like, "It doesn't have Michael. I don't care." And he's like, "Please," and I'm like, "Fine."
Yeah, it ultimately was good. I mean, we make fun of it now, but it was actually for its time. It was actually a really good movie, and it was actually, like I said, it was really ahead of its time in a lot of ways. Because I'm like, with what it came up with as far as horror genre goes, I think it was.
It was a totally different concept.
Yeah, definitely.
there's a dude who worked on this movie named Dick Warlock. You know that, right?
What a fucking
I thought
guy.
you said that like a wrestling name or something like that.
No, there's an actual guy named
Dick
Dick
Warlock.
Warlock. He was Michael Myers in Halloween 2.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he played one of the android assassins in Halloween 3. He was Kurt Russell's stunt double for 25 years. This is an actual dude, Dick Warlock.
Dick Warlock. I'm sorry.
What
that's
a guy.
That's A, definitely a horror movie name, or B, I can't say B.
Oh, he's the blonde-headed robot. Dude.
Oh, from the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, so he played Mikey. He played Michael Myers in part 2.
Oh, he was the one of the older assassin guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Dick
Oh
Warlock.
shit, he's got a whole webpage, dickwarlock.com. This is fucking great. The internet is awesome, man.
Oh, dude, with that kind of name, you'd want to secure that website real fast. Just look me up, www.dickwarlock.com.
.com.
.org. Huh?
Dickwarlock.com. This is a real thing.
Oh wow.
Oh my god, you can buy autographs with him.
Matt's having a wonderful time right now.
Yes, I see that. He's stuck on Dick
When I'm
Warlock.
surfing on the internet, I don't have people as a captive audience to listen to my
Look, Matt, you had me at Dick Warlock. I just want you to know that. You
I'm
totally had me.
surprised you're a Halloween fan and you didn't know that Dick Warlock existed.
Look,
He was Michael.
But you know, that's what I'm saying. In most cases, most of the time, most people with like Michael Myers, outside of, now granted it's the reboot, Tyler Mane, everybody knows that Tyler Mane is Michael Myers in the 2 reboots. It's the Michael Myers characters in previous reboots, excuse me, were all typically different actors. So it's like not one actor really owned it. Unlike in Friday the 13th, you had Kane Hodder who came in part 7 and continued for several movies to the point that out of like what 10 or 11 movies, he's probably the most recognized as Jason Voorhees because he was him for 3 or 4 movies. He owned it. But
even though there are still so many actors that played Jason,
correct. When you hear Jason,
there's like the one name that sticks out.
Yeah.
But he did not get to be Jason in Freddy vs. Jason.
I was pissed about that. I was.
They needed somebody. It's because Robert Englund is just too damn tall.
Yeah, he's. I've seen him once in person at Days of the Dead, which I'll be going to in August. Very, very shameful plug. But no, he's a tall man. I mean, he's a tall man. Yeah. But no, I can totally get that. Now I actually met Kane Hodder. I got a picture out to throw in here.
Did he choke you?
Hodder. Oh no. My dumbass.
Oh no.
You know, it's a good story when it starts with my dumbass.
Okay.
My dumbass. The first time I wanted to do something cool, right? So on my wall, I have, this wall lightsabers. On this wall, horror stuff. I have 3 machetes autographed by 3 different Jasons. So I have one machete autographed by the original Jason who played Kid Jason that comes out of the water at the end of the original movie.
Yeah, Ari Lehman.
Yes, he's cool as hell. He's nice, very down to earth. But he's also totally milking that first Jason movie, which he should. Then Derek Mears, who was, oh my God, he was Jason in the 2009 remake, which was really the combination of part 1 through 4. It had elements of those 4 movies.
Which features Travis Van Winkle, who went to high school in Peachtree City.
Oh God.
My cousin used to play football with Travis. And somehow I became Facebook friends with him and talked to him like 10 years ago.
That's cool.
But anyway, yeah, he went to Macintosh.
Look, you're gonna have to get him on my show. Come on, I believe in you. I'll take it. But so that was an awesome. I actually liked the 2009 remake, but Derek Mears. I met him. Big dude, built, ripped, super nice. Even so much to the point that when I gave him the machete, each of them I gave him the machete. I was like a liege arming his knight. I was like, I had a sheath and everything, so I was just like, my lord, Now Derek Mears was cool because he looked at me, he stopped what he was doing, and he just smiled. He's like, thank you. And I'm like, why? He goes, of all the, I've got a bunch of fans that want me to sign this knife or this machetes, and they always like, here, sign this with the sharp end. Sign this.
Oh my God.
Please, would you sign this? And to the point that he's like he was so appreciative that he actually stopped the not the gimmick, but he stopped he actually kind of exited doing the autograph and said, look, thank you very much, because you're the first person that's actually given it to me handle first, very calmly, sir, would you be, he's like, he goes, you want a picture too? I'm like, shit, he didn't charge me for the picture. He's like, here, come on, don't worry about it. He goes that he was just very happy that wasn't, please, as I cut you.
Like, here, maybe I'm gonna stab you. Maybe
Yes.
I'm crazy.
I now have the blood of bull. He's upon my blade.
Right.
No.
There's
Now-
people like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kane Hodder. My dumbass.
Mhm.
So
My
I gave
dumbass
him-
story.
My
Okay.
dumbass. I did the same thing. I gave him handle first. My lord. Oh my F, dude. You would have thought that he thought he was King Arthur. I shit you not. Now, let's look. And I have picture evidence of the end mark. He takes the blade. He takes the handle. And he goes, shoo. I mean, dude, he's like, I'm here waiting for him to be like, Excalibur or Thundercats. Oh, I'm waiting for one of the two, right? And he's like,
Or to
"No."
just literally turn into Jason
I
Voorhees
know.
and murder everyone.
That's about what almost happened.
Oh no.
Stands up. No, dude. And he stands up. And he's just like, you made my day. And he stands up and he goes, and ends up cutting into a wooden door frame right there. And the handler that's there is like, Mr. Hodder. He's like, no. He goes, you want a picture, right? You want the sign, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. And he's
I
like,
think so.
oh no, dude, he was just like pumping, right? So he goes, come here, let's get a picture. Come on. So I'm next to him, right? He goes, you ready? I'm like, sure. Next thing I know, the machete's up here, blade side. He's like, okay, I'm gonna get on you. I'm like, okay. He's like, are you ready for the picture? With my friend, I'm like, see, I'm taking the damn picture.
Please take
Yeah.
a picture.
And then next thing I know, he's like, oh shit. Oh shit. So my friend takes like 5 pictures. We finish. He autographs it. You're next. It says, you're next on my blade.
What a guy.
We walk past. And my friend Tim's like, dude, lift up your neck. I lift it up. He's like, hold on. Click. So I have pictures when he was doing that. And then the right after where you see across the freaking jugular a line, a red. I mean, he was like, and
He could have killed you right then.
well, about 20 minutes later, he choked out a girl. But she asked him to. She's like, I want you to choke me.
Jesus, what kind of convention were you
This
at?
was it.
Is this a sex
No, like
convention
that's
or
like a thing with Kane Hodder.
Yeah.
Is like a lot of people have him choke them for pictures.
I think she passed out, but she was like, I want you to choke me. Like I'm one of your victims. That's the one and only time that I've gotten an honor. I've seen him many times, like because I've gone to different conventions. He's there. That's the only time I've had interaction with him. Because after that, I was like, I've been there. I've done that. I'm done.
Good. He kept kayfabe, brother. That's keeping the
Oh,
business
dude.
alive.
True.
I remember it was one of those. In the moment, I was like, "You!" And afterwards, I was like, I could have died. Holy crap!
Mm.
It was definitely surreal. The only other scarier story I had like that was the day I met Gary Busey.
Ah.
That actually was scary. It's scary when the handler is telling you take 2 steps away slowly.